Hey friends, Rob Hip here. Little quick San Antonio discussion tonight before we get started. Those of you that are here on the live stream, can you just say hello? Let me know that you can hear me okay. If you can hear me, can you say hello on the live stream? If you can hear me, just type hello. About to get started here in just a few seconds. Again, if you can hear me, please give me a shout out. We're trying a little something new tonight here. Hey, what's up, Dan? Appreciate you guys. A few on here for the stream tonight. San Antonio tonight, victorious in overtime, 143-142. The Lakers ended the fourth quarter. They go on a 8-0 run to end that fourth quarter. LeBron James simply on fire for Los Angeles. Many of you guys, of course, watching that game tonight. San Antonio improves to 2-1. Los Angeles falls to 0-3 on the season. The Spurs picking up the road win tonight. And, man, they did it in style with two of their top players, of course, DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, over 30 tonight. I'm pulling up some of those final stats here. LaMarcus Aldridge, 40 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He had 37 on the night for San Antonio. And then DeMar DeRozan, of course, who's playing for San Antonio now after the Kawhi Leonard trade. 45 minutes, he had 8 rebounds, 14 assists. He was dishing them out tonight, 32 points for DeMar. So the dynamic duo of LMA and DeMar DeRozan combining for over 60 points tonight. Actually, if you added up 69 points between those two guys. Brian Forbes coming in as well with 16. Rudy Gay had that big three in the fourth, as well as the overtime for the San Antonio Spurs, scoring 16. Marco Bellinelli, man, it's so good to have Marco back in the Spurs jersey. 15 points tonight, 23 minutes of play, and then Patty Mills, 12 points in 31 minutes. Talking to some of you guys earlier, and, man, I got to be honest with you. When that fourth quarter happened for San Antonio, I thought they were on a run. But, you know, with the Lakers, you can't count out, of course, LeBron James tonight, 43 minutes. He had 32 points. But, man, I got to tell you, what a game tonight for San Antonio as they came back. Things not looking good towards the end of the fourth quarter, but they fought their way back tonight with the victory. McGee for the Lakers had a pretty well-rounded game. You know, the Spurs fans out there saying McGee played a little dirty maybe. I just think he played good defense tonight. Of course, he fouled out in the overtime, 16 points for McGee. Kyle Kuzma with 37 leading all scorers for the Lakers. Again, LeBron James with 32. Josh Hart following right behind with 20 points tonight. Again, San Antonio, some folks already saying here that Dan Vita's putting a comment here on Facebook Live, big win. Great to see DeRozan playing so well, 32 points and a career-high 14 assists. Need to step up the defense. Hey, man, I agree with that. The defense tonight for San Antonio looking like they were struggling at times, but the Spurs come back. They get the victory in overtime tonight. Again, they're in Los Angeles. Barrera, what's up, Danny B in the house, man? Talking about Kuzma is the man. Danny, always got mad respect for you, my brother. As I know how hardcore you are about the Mavericks, man. I've always got respect for you, Danny. Always had respect for the Mavericks. And just looking over some other final stats here I'm pulling up in just a minute. But overall for San Antonio, good game. But, of course, the Lakers winless on the season to start things out. And I don't think we're going to see L.A., of course, at the bottom of the barrel. This is just the early season. LeBron's still trying to get into the offense. But you talk about a player in LeBron James, any team he plays on, immediately those other players around him just turn into fantastic players. We saw that again tonight. LeBron, of course, leading the charge. He had that big three in the fourth quarter as time winding down to give his team the opportunity to go to overtime. And, man, when he touches the ball, I get scared. I don't know about you guys. So, and, Danny, I know you still hate the Spurs, man, but I appreciate you joining us. Travis Cox, man, good to see you. My brother, little GSG accent there on Facebook Live. Hey, Jonathan Sanford was in here a little bit ago. Of course, the former PA for the San Antonio Spurs and also the Austin Spurs. We miss you, Jonathan. You did such awesome work down there in San Antonio for several years. And, man, I got to tell you, we miss you back behind the mic, my friend. You were simply unbelievable. So hope everything's going good for you, my friend. Good to see you here on the Facebook live stream tonight. Anybody out there, if you guys have your thoughts, I'm going to pull up some stats here in a minute. We'll go over the final numbers for San Antonio tonight, but if you've got some ideas, some things that you wanted to point out, feel free to put them there on the Facebook live stream. I'm just kind of testing tonight. We may start doing something like this after the Spurs games if we have time. So, but again, if anybody out there has some comments about what you saw tonight, we already were talking to Dan Vita earlier. He was talking about the Spurs defense definitely going to have to stand up. Moose, what's up, my man? Big Moose Morales in the house. Appreciate you, buddy. Well, as we go over the final stats for San Antonio, of course, Patty Mills had that go-ahead jumper with just over 6 seconds to go in the game. You know, I was watching the game, and I said, man, Patty shot that shot way too early, and that's why I'm not a coach and why I don't pretend to know much about basketball, but I'm sitting there looking, and I really thought that Patty Mills hit that shot way too soon. I thought that it was going to give too much time to Los Angeles. You know, we talk about a team, again, with LeBron James. Any team that's got LeBron on it and he touches the ball, you just know that something amazing is probably going to happen. And we saw that at the end of the fourth quarter when LeBron touched it. And then I was starting to say, man, if LeBron gets this ball with 6 seconds to go, that's going to be it for the Spurs. But luckily he missed, and San Antonio able to come out of there with the victory. So the Los Angeles, of course, they now remain, there's no now about it, they remain winless on the season. They came back, they were down 6 points in the final minute of overtime, and Spurs kept it going, and they win tonight 143-142 on a Monday night at Staples Center. Of course, LeBron James hitting that tying three-point shot, 2.4 seconds left in regulation. Again, he finished with 32 points, 14 assists, and 8 rebounds. But you talk about LeBron James, he missed 2 free throws with 12.8 seconds to play, and then Mills with that 6.8 on the clock scoring. I don't know if you guys saw it on the broadcast. They talked about the time with about 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. San Antonio was rolling, but there was 8 seconds on the regulation clock that didn't go off. And I don't know if you guys saw that. I was keeping up with it on the Fox Sports Southwest broadcast, of course, with Bill Land and Sean Elliott. But they mentioned that. They were talking about the clock did not move. At first they said 4 seconds, so they went back and looked at it, and it actually did not move for 8 seconds. And if you look at that 8 seconds that was on the clock, could that have played a factor? Because LeBron James would have had to shoot that shot a lot quicker. And, man, I tell you, that could have played a role tonight. Again, if you go back and look at it, around the 2 minute mark, sometime around there, 8 seconds not taken off the clock in regulation in the fourth quarter. Luckily, though, San Antonio able to come out of there with a victory. And really, LeBron James down the stretch at the end of regulation played phenomenal. And there, in parts of the overtime, played great, but then missing 2 critical free throws. We talk about LMA. I'm talking about LaMarcus Aldridge. He misses some big free throws as well, but luckily the Spurs able to pull ahead. Aldridge, 37 points, 10 rebounds tonight. DeMar DeRozan, 32 points, 14 assists, and the Spurs making that big rally to bounce back from a loss, of course, previously to Portland, where they struggled in that game. For the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma, 37 points, 8 rebounds tonight. And, of course, the Lakers playing without their suspended starters, Brandon Ingram and Rajon Rondo. Of course, you guys saw a little bit, or some of you saw a little bit of the brawl that happened there versus Houston. Hart adding 20 points, 10 rebounds, so he picks up the double-double for the Los Angeles Lakers. Spurs got on them early tonight, 14 of their first 17 shots, and that opened up an 18-point lead. And, man, you got to give the Lakers credit. They come back in the fourth, they lead, and that was fun to watch at the end of that game, going back and forth in the fourth quarter. But the Spurs giving up an 18-point lead, that's not going to cut it as the season goes along. It's just not championship caliber basketball that we're used to as Spurs fans, or for those of you that are Spurs fans. Dan talking about Forbes hitting those clutch shots in the fourth and overtime. He absolutely did. And then Dante Cunningham, 3 points, 12 rebounds, 29 minutes. He started tonight. Jacob Patel, who started first 2 games, did not play. Bellinelli, man, bringing some pizza sauce tonight from Italy. 15 points coming off as a reserve for San Antonio. Rudy Gay, of course, some big threes. He finished up with 16 points as well. Next for the Spurs, they'll host Indiana on Wednesday. The Lakers will be at Phoenix on Wednesday. Los Angeles still trying to look for their first win after going 0-3 here in this early NBA season. The Spurs, of course, improve to 2-1. Dan, you were talking about Forbes in this ball game. He finished with 37 minutes, 16 points. He goes 6 for 14, shooting 42% tonight. 4 for 8, 50% from a three-point line, doing a great job. He also had a few rebounds for the Spurs total, 1 assist, turned the ball over once. He did have 1 steal, but you talk about his big play was really those clutch shots coming in the fourth quarter and the overtime. Pau Gasol a little quiet tonight, only 18 minutes. He gets 9 points, though. He goes 2 for 4 from the field and 1 for 2 from three-point land. We talked about Bellinelli earlier, 15 points, 5 for 9, shooting from the field, 55%. He goes 3 for 6. Spurs, overall, a great night from three-point land. They go 15 of 28, 53%. That's not a bad shooting night from behind the line for San Antonio. Overall, they go 50 for 97, 51% from the field. Spurs getting 4 blocks tonight. They get 9 turnovers. And, man, really dishing the ball, 32 assists. But for the Lakers, and I'm trying to find the actual stat here wherever I can find it, but points in the paint for the Lakers tonight, unbelievable. They damaged the Spurs in the paint tonight. And most of those, actually, I beg your pardon, most of those coming on fast break points. It's very rare to see a team put up and give up that many fast break points that San Antonio did. And the Lakers, though, still falling tonight. Once again, the final 143-142 in overtime in Los Angeles. If you guys have any final comments, feel free to type them in there. I like what Travis Cox was saying earlier. The Spurs run-and-gun style tonight reminded me of the Suns during the Nash era. Who can forget back in the day with Steve Nash playing for Phoenix, man. Well, we'll see what's up next. A lot of good Spurs action on the court again. This is just kind of a little test live video, but I may start doing these after every Spurs game, just do a little quick rundown. Of course, our friends on the radio, they've got the best show. Chris Duell, Carl Schoening also helping out on that show from time to time on Spurs Radio, 1200 WOAI down in San Antonio. So, of course, if you've got the AM radio, just tune in to 1200 WOAI. Bill Schoening on the call for San Antonio, but the post-game and game night react, always really fun there in San Antonio. Of course, if you don't have the AM radio, you can always go online, WOAI, and pull up that live stream. Hey, friends, thanks for joining, man. Travis, appreciate you, brother, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. We'll try to keep doing this. It's been a lot of fun and just a little test tonight. I was testing some new equipment, tying into my phone with the sound system here at my home office. So we will see you once again from Los Angeles tonight. The San Antonio Spurs at Staples, victorious. They improved to 2-1 over the Victory as the Lakers fall to 0-3. Spurs 143, Lakers 142. Have a good night, guys. Love you guys. Take care, and go Spurs, go. See you, Moose.